It's Heart Breakfast, and we're at the Fringe, and we're with somebody very, very special, somebody that I agree with in almost every matter, politically, football, anything. It's the one and only, she's so hilarious, Susie McCabe.
Look at us, all we G's on a maroon bus. Sold our soul in.
Oh, Susie, welcome to the bus. Grado has been looking forward to speaking to you here at the
I've
Fringe.
been looking forward to speaking to Grado, let me tell you.
I bet she has.
Right, Grado, you've been wanting to do a double act with Susie for many
Yes,
years.
I have. I've actually been pestering her on Instagram. She's actually stopped replying to me now. Because I had a great idea with me. We're not going to say it right. I'm not going to say the idea right. But it was a great idea. And I pestered her. And then she went, I'm going to Dublin. I'll give you a shout once I come back.
I totally forgot about that, because that was my first gig in my tour. That's why, and I was just everywhere. I was all over the UK and Ireland, so I forgot.
Can I say something? I'm going to butt in, right? I don't know if you want me to say it because it's a bit of a personal question, right? But you had your wallies done. You look good.
No, I had to get the top ones done.
Composite bonding.
I get the top ones done.
You're looking really good.
Thanks very much. I've started a skincare.
Your skin is like a baby's bum.
You're very kempt.
Look at this.
She's looking great.
Started a skincare regime in the past year.
Right.
I tone, moisturise.
What kind of moisturiser?
Cleanse, tone, moisturiser.
Any coconut butter?
No.
Oh, that's what I do.
It's like I'm not walking about smelling like Hawaiian tropic.
Actually, I want that. A pina colada.
No. No, I use a thing called a Baji moisturiser, and I use some hydro drops and a wee bit of retinol.
Lovely
Oh,
job.
you look
Lovely
great.
darling.
It has to be done because I was like, Jings, Crivens, McCabe, you're looking old.
No.
So now I'm just trying to
No,
iron
your
my
skin looks like
face.
a baby's bum. It looks lovely,
Yeah,
darling.
But
It's
do-
gorgeous,
fresh.
darling.
But do you do that for the Fringe to get yourself? It's a Fringe. I need to get myself in good nick.
Aye, and I try and keep myself in good nick at the Fringe. I try. So I now stay through here. I went and done a shopping last week. I'll be doing a shopping later on this week to just try and eat healthy, eat well. Try and get to your bed early most nights if you can, depending on when you're gigging, and you've just got to try and really look after yourself when you're here, because it's so easy just to go to a food truck, and it's so easy just to, do you know what I mean, go for pints and all that, and you go, no, it's a Monday. I'm not going for pints on a Monday. That's ridiculous.
It's an intense month. So do you try and keep it feeling as much like you're at home and just coming from the gig and go back to your house?
Aye,
Yeah.
that's it. Pick up what I need to do during the day if I need to do anything. So your weekends, you know yourself, Des, they're busy. They're busy during the day. And then, like tonight, I've got a gig at midnight down at the Caves, which is fine. But it's like, right, I'll have a long lie tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'm actually meeting a friend and we're going for a nice lunch.
Right.
Because that's a nice thing to do at the Fringe. Catch up with a mate, have a nice bit to eat, and just kind of look after yourself and treat yourself, because you're absolutely hammering it. And when people come through to see you, you don't get a chance to spend time with them. So if they're through in Edinburgh, I'll try and make a point to fit them into my schedule, to just have a bit of, oh, how's your mum, what's happening,
A
all
bit of
that.
downtime.
Aye, and just a bit of normality from, how's the show? 75 5-star reviews and I'm sold out everything. I'm just like, oh, shut up. Do you know what I mean?
Do you find when you go home though, like obviously if you're working intensely, like what you're doing, do you find when you go home you shut the door, is it quiet in your brain or is it still buzzy? Do you find it easy to shut off, or do you do anything to shut off?
I'll read or I'll listen to some podcasts. I'll go in and I'll sit and I'll have like toast and tea.
Oh, lovely.
And I'll sit and have a wee read, and I'll sit and, you know, just kind of chill out. And when I get up in the morning, where I live is right next to the Crags, Salisbury Crags.
Yeah.
So at the top of the street's the entrance to the Crags, so I just go for a wee walk and stuff as well.
Lovely, yeah.
I always say to Des, I see Susie's Instagram stories, and I'm like, that looks good. You've got the fireplace on, you've got a wee shot of something, there's maybe a wee bit of chocolate sitting out or something, and I always go, that looks gallus in Horus.
Grado wants to move in with you.
Listen, it's a cool house. It's the first time I've ever really had a house, you know, not either with somebody or living with them.
Aye.
So I made it my house.
Your
So,
own custom
aye,
made.
and you proper know when you walk in, you're in my house. Do you know what I mean? You
And
just
what
need-
kind of things it got that is like you?
So it's got like a signed pulp album, a signed Noel Gallagher picture, that kind of stuff. And then I've got like loads of Ross Muir, you know the artist Ross Muir. Yeah. So I've got like Frida Kahlo above the fireplace. Then my dining room's Billy Connolly with the old cone in his head and all that. And I've just tried to make it a house it's quite, because it's an older property, I put a lot of kind of mid-century furniture in it, and I like to go and sit in my dining room if I'm writing or if I'm listening to music and that kind of stuff, and just have my own wee spaces in there, 'cause it's important.
We got a lot of brilliant international acts playing the Fringe. How important is it for you to be a Scottish person playing in Edinburgh?
So I had this conversation the other day with somebody at my venue, and they were saying, you're in a 500-seater. I don't know many Scottish acts that have continually came year on year and built and then went, right, I'm going to go to the 500 and I'm going to go back to the 500 and I'm going to go back. So what's quite funny is when I first done my Fringe, I was in stand 4, so it was a little 40-seater and it essentially looks like a living room. And then when I get signed, I moved to Assembly and I went to the Box, which is a 75-seater shipping container. And I used to be walking to my gig every night and I would see this massive queue for like David O'Doherty, Frank Skinner. And I'd be like, oh man, one day I would love to play that room. And then I went to a 195-seater for 2 Fringes, a 215, then into the but you need to kind of back yourself as well, because you're going, well, only like within 5 Fringes I've went from 75 to 500, but you've kind of, you know, you've got to break an egg to make an omelette kind of thing, and you've got to push yourself and go, it might not sell out. 195 to 250 isn't that big a jump, right? But your 75 to 195 and 250 to 500 are big rooms.
Big jumps.
Do you know what I mean? So like your first night at the Fringe, it's like, many have I got in, they go, oh, you've got 400, and you're like, that's mad, you know, that's mad.
That's phenomenal.
You know what I mean?
I know what's happening with your show then. What's the crack with this, man? How does it go down? And is it, you know, years of writing this one, or is it, how's it put together?
So this show was put together, so in July 24 I had the heart attack and I'd done a show called Best Behaviour on the back of that and Changing Your Life. And this show is almost like a kind of a sequel to that, because I had a heart attack, thought it was the worst thing that would ever happen to me. Turns out it was the opening ceremony, because 6 months after the heart attack, my second marriage ended, and then 7 months after that, my dad died.
That's awful.
Right, but
Too much.
there was.
Comes in threes.
But then my nephew moved in with me, and he's a Rangers fan, so I mean, where do I even take that? Honestly, 2 failed marriages, the biggest disappointment in my life's him being a Rangers fan. And we're not genetically related, it's through my first marriage. And that explains everything, Adele. But
that's a lot, though.
It is a lot, and I talk about it, but it's things like the ridiculousness, like the minutiae of death, right? Like, getting in to see the priest, and the priest going, oh, your hymns are no bad, and me going, not bad, they're bangers. Even the Protestants will cry at them, Father. Do you know what I mean? You need it, and like, you know, somebody going, you'll never guess who's walked in. I'm like, better not be my dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's carrying the coffin, and are we doing steak pie, or we doing sandwiches and sausage rolls? Like, everything.
So relatable.
The minutiae of death is hilarious, right?
Oh, you're right.
And then, you know, the boy moving in and him being a Gen Z and me being a Gen X and me going, I'm no your ma, and then behaving exactly like a ma, and I'm going, that's me, I'm part of the problem with the patriarchy. You know what I mean? And I think you've got to find the humour in that. And do you know what? As much as what I'm talking about kind of really sad things, right? It's actually quite a joyful show. I've had 2 great reviews, and both of them said it's a very joyful show, because really essentially what that show's about is love. Like, so the funeral, I've got 4 friends carrying my dad's coffin, and it's a big kind of 20-minute piece I do, and without kind of giving anything away, there's a bit at the end where they all come in and talk about the weight of the coffin, right? And I do a whole thing about when they were carrying the coffin, and I'm going, who's in there? Because my dad was a double below the knee amputee, so I'm like, he was only a half a guy, man. How's it this heavy? How's this even happened? Right? And I think you've got to look at that, and then, you know, your pals sitting you down telling you stuff that happened when they were outside, and they're saying, we're telling you this because this is one of the worst days of your life, but your dad would have loved this
Yeah.
chat.
Aye,
And that is essentially
Yeah,
about
that's
love.
it.
And you can be angry that you've lost your dad, and you can be angry that your marriage ended and all that. Do you know what I mean? But there's other things in the world to be angry about, you know. But whereas I was just getting really angry about the minutiae of death and the priest not having clean shoes. Know what I mean? Just being like, you joking? I know he'd no feet, but my dad always wore good shoes when he did have feet. This is outrageous. So, and I think, and everybody's been through that, or they've been there, or they've carried.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot that you can just kind of throw it, because death is death, and it's one of the worst things. And then you kind of start to look at the state of the world. And I kind of try to say to people as well, you know, we give millennials and Gen Z a hard time, but my upbringing, all your upbringings, wasn't particularly that different from your mum and dad's or from your grandparents, really. Right? Really wasn't that different. But the technology gap between those that are in their 30s to those that are in their 40s is massive. And then I kind of bring that up, and I kind of talk about how your nana used to watch Countdown. You know, you know, she's screaming at a migrant hotel in Falkirk. You know what I mean? You're like, get in the house. There will be no vowels because I'm not spelling walk. You know what I mean? That's nanas now. You're like, remember you just used to do that? Remember somebody'd be having a baby and you'd make a wee hat and a wee pair of gloves for the new baby? Now yous are chasing people.
Listen, we can
That's
see
hilarious.
Grado reaching down, so he's got a special bag here. Says, you know, Grado's got a series of questions that...
Tote bag of truths.
Right,
It's a tote bag of truths. Pick one out. Right, that's it.
Okay.
Good rubble.
right.
The last time you tripped up about 3 days ago and they cobbles round there.
another one.
It was wet. They were wet cobbles. Oh, that's no good for a lassie
let's
like
do
me.
another one.
My stiletto got stuck. So
Yeah, Bill.
What?
Hey, one. That's it.
the last time you cried.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Wow.
no, you just mentioned
Wow.
all those.
How long we got left?
What a
pretty-
question
Aye.
that is.
The last time I cried, so I actually got, I had my first review in on Wednesday, which was a preview night, and it was a guy for the Herald. So obviously, as a Scottish act in Edinburgh, the Herald and the Scotsman are your big publications, and you really want a good review because it's good to have in the poster. And I read this review, and it was a really lovely review, and he talks about me talking about my dad's funeral, right, and how it's a kind of centrepiece, and he went, it was Conley-esque,
Oh, there
and
you
I
go.
just
Can't
went,
get that.
Wow.
to talk about something so profoundly sad and know how much my dad and I grew up
so
with Billy
proud of
Connolly,
you. Oh.
because my dad loved Billy Connolly, to then talk about not having him here and be told that about his funeral. I thought, well, do you know what? Do you know what, Dad? You've sailed off into the sunset with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Something really,
That is beautiful.
really kind of full circle with that. Do you know what I mean?
That's
And there's no
special.
greater. There's no
It's
greater
the-
compliment for us, you know what I mean?
If you're in this industry doing comedy and you're in any way compared to or mentioned in the same breath as the name Billy
That's
Connolly,
it.
then you made it, but you deserve that.
Oh,
do.
thank
She's-
you,
she's-
thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
An absolute
Thank
star.
you.
She
Your dad
worked-
would be
as
really
well
proud
as the-
of you.
You're right, your dad would be
Yeah.
so proud
Yeah,
of you.
would be.
Your
definitely.
talent's there, but the level of work that you put in,
You've
Susie,
just got to keep going, haven't you?
and you're a credit to yourself and your family as well.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Grado, you're reaching into the
Aye.
pocket.
He's got a wee
Well,
gift for you.
just because I knew I was interviewing you, and I thought to
no.
myself, they were saying, what can you get Susie? And I thought she would maybe because she's away in Edinburgh, I don't know if she's got her own wear. If I thought I'd get you a new. You know, rosary beads.
Thank you very much, Grado. Do you know what?
You know
I
what I mean?
don't have mine with me, but do you know what I'm going to
Yeah.
do? I am going to carry them in my pocket.
There you go.
All this fringe, and see when I'm kind of thinking about my dad,
Aye.
I'm going to give them a wee home.
Hear that? There you go.
Look at you.
I blessed them for you. Is it fits what you do, do you? I don't, do you bless them? I don't know.
Aye,
No.
aye, it's normally a priest.
Aye.
That's fine. You've blessed them.
I do.
Look
I
at
do.
you.
But
Here, good one's got the cross.
I know, it's a
I
beautiful
think it's
cross.
got him on it.
It is. Aye,
Get
it's
the big
got,
man on it.
it's got a
big
lady
man
on it.
so
There you go.
I'm going to
Great.
carry them a bit when you
There
get
we
it
go.
on
that
fringe.
was, that was
£6
his idea.
notes.
You wanted to buy your
That's
rosary
it.
beads.
And people say you're not, and he's not.
There you go. He's not.
That's
tell
it.
you.
Right, do you know what? I think we should put a wee sketch together and see if we should maybe look at doing a programme about Scotland's religious heritage. Me and you.
Get it,
what
mate?
it is.
That's a great
That's
idea.
It. My planet, why not? Whose idea was that?
What we want to know is where we can see between now and the end of the Fringe.
I am at the Gordon Aikman Theatre, which is up at George Square Gardens. Now, this is not George Street, because George Street in Edinburgh has 2 squares at either end of it. And do you know what? None of them are George Square, because town planners are idiots. George Square is up at the other side of town. I'm in the lecture theatre that is the Gordon Aikman Theatre, 8:45 every evening. Coming of Age is the show. Come on and hear a menopausal woman growl.
Come on!
On Heartbreak for
Come
Susie
on!
McCabe.
There we go!